Hi students, I am uploading this video of Unit 2 Part 1 so that any students want to repeat this class or any students are absent to this class so they can easily understand the things happen. So this video will be helping you once you go through this slide. So my explanation will help you to understand in a better way when you are studying or preparing for any examination. So in this unit 2, I am going to discuss about characteristics, properties and use of materials. This unit provides the characteristics, properties and use of materials through following section. I am going to explain about these properties, design criteria, specifications and uses of materials. So the materials which I am going to discuss is concrete. I think you all know what is a concrete, and metal and alloys. Alloys means it is a mixture of two different minerals or two different materials. Next one is specification of materials. So what we are going to discuss is maintenance and eventual replacement, energy efficiency, environmental issues, renewable resources and sustainable construction. So coming to this part 1, we are going to discuss about this properties and use of materials. What are engineering materials? Generally, as we discussed in the class, the materials which are used for engineering purpose are called as engineering materials. If the materials are used for building construction, it is called as building materials. Like construction purpose, they are called as construction materials. But the materials used in construction of all types of structure, they can commonly called as engineering materials. See, these are the engineering materials. First, masonry. Masonry means blocks, bricks, all the works related to this comes under masonry. This is material masonry. Next, steel. I have already discussed in this, like as a civil engineer, we are not going to call it as a steel. We are going to call it as reinforcement. Next, asphalt. Asphalt is a material which is used to cover the surfaces, and this material is used as a surface layer for pavements or any floors. You are very known about this wood material, soil, aluminium, plastic, glass and concrete. Concrete is a mixture of cement, sand which can be called as fine aggregate, stones or chips which can be called as coarse aggregate, with a required amount of water, then we can call it as a concrete. Why should we study the properties of materials? For understanding the properties of materials and the selection criteria. So before you select a material for construction purpose, you must be having idea which material can be selected and which material cannot be selected. So if you come to know the properties of the material, then you can select material. This material can be used and this material cannot be used. So use the materials with high performance, quality, economic and safety in construction and maintenance. Improve the existing materials, admixtures on concrete. So create new materials like advanced technologies like fiber reinforced polymer, etc. These are the material properties which we are going to discuss, and we should know all these properties. First one is economic factor. It depends upon the cost of the material, availability of the material, like that. Mechanical properties, which are we going to discuss in the next slides. Non-mechanical properties, production or construction considerations, aesthetic properties or sustainable design. Economic factors. Availability and cost of raw materials. according to the availability and the cost of raw materials. If the materials are available in nearby, or we have to go for far distance, so we have to consider this availability of materials, where can we get the materials, and where the cost and the cost of raw materials will be different in several places. So you can find out, you can just sort out this availability and cost. According to this, you can select this material. Manufacturing cost. So if you want to manufacture your material on your own, or you must be having an idea about how much the cost for manufacturing this material, how much does it transport cost, placing. So once we transported, how can we place the material on this construction site, so how to maintain this materials, all this comes under economic factors. Now coming to important thing, mechanical properties. The response of the material to external loads. So this is very important, like that we have a material and there is so many forces or loads acting on the material, so that how the material responses to this external load. So if this is a material, I'm just applying an external load, so it is reacting something. This material will have, every material will have some reactions to the external load, that can be defined as a mechanical property. Next one is loading condition. How the load is going to be for how the material is reacting for the loading conditions. There are several types of loading conditions, like dead load condition, live load condition, wind load condition, seismic load conditions. So according to the loading condition, the response of the material may varies. And stress and strain relationship. Next one is elastic behavior. I think you all know what is elastic behavior. Once a load is applied on a material, it deviates, and again once the load is removed, it comes back to its original position. That can be defined as an elastic behavior. See here, mechanical properties. Deformation of the material due to load depend on, like deformation means we have a material like this. If you apply load, there will be some change in the material, like sometimes it may bend, sometimes it may extend, sometimes it may contract. Any type of changing in the shape or length or volume of the material can be defined as the deformation of the material due to load depend on. First one is properties of the materials, the magnitude and type of load, and the geometry of the element. Properties of the materials means, as we discussed, there are different materials having different properties. The magnitude and type of load. Compression. What compression means? If you take an object, so you take an object like this. If the load is applied in both direction towards the object, like I'm pressing it, I'm pushing it, this can be called as a compression. If I'm trying to pulling it, load acting in a outward direction, like I'm trying to pulling it, it is tension. If the load applied in this direction, like round circular direction, that can be called as torsion. This is tension and this is torsion. The load we may have, if I try to bend it like this, it tries to bend. See, it tries to bend. That is called as bending force. According to the geometry of the element, it can be rectangular, it can be square, it can be triangle, where the center point will change. So these are the mechanical properties. Types of load. There are two types of load, static load and dynamic load. Static load is constant load with no shock or vibration. If there is any load applied, there may not be any shock or vibration. It may not move. So if I applied a load like this is a static load, because it doesn't have any vibration and it's not moving. It is standard like this. This way directly falls onto the material. So this can be called as a dead load. While coming to dynamic load, a load with shock or vibration, if I hit this material having some impact and there is some production of vibration like this. If I hit like this, like wind load, earthquake loads, periodic loads, if consider this as a bridge and a vehicle is moving here, once the vehicle is here, your load is increased high. Once it moves from this place, here the load comes to null. No load is here and load is now here, so the load is transferred. If there is any movement in load, if load creates any vibrations, if load creates any shocks, that load can be defined as dynamic load. So coming to the mechanical properties, we have stress and strain relationship. Stress is defined as the force per unit area. The stress is denoted by sigma. This symbol is sigma. Sigma is equal to force by area, that is equal to F by A. Please remember this. This is an important slide and this is useful for solving problems also. Strain, the change in length to the original length. The change in length to the original length, that is, this symbol is epsilon, delta L by L. This symbol is delta. So strain is equal to change in length by over original length. Strain is equal to delta L over L. The relationship between the amount of force and its deformation are as follows. So here we have different stress and strain graphs for each material. For example, glass and chalk. Here the stress and strain. If the strain increases, the stress is going on increase, like it is a gradual increase. For here, if strain increase, stress will be increasing up to a certain limit, then it's like becoming less. So here we have each material how they reacts with load. This is stress and strain relationship. Now coming to elastic behavior. So this is the good example for elastic behavior. We have an object like this. This is the original form of the object. If you apply a force on an object, it tends to bend like this. When you apply a force like this, there will be some deformation in the material. If you remove this load, this material may return to its original position. This returning to its original position can be defined as elastic deformation. The ability of the material to return to its original shape when remove the load. This is elastic behavior. Here you have to remember this modulus of elasticity or Young's modulus. It is denoted by capital E. What is modulus of elasticity? The ratio between the normal stress and normal strain. Capital E, Young's modulus or modulus of elasticity, is equal to sigma by epsilon. It is nothing but stress by strain. Normal stress over normal strain. So the formula for Young's modulus is normal stress by normal strain. See this elastic behavior. So I will explain from this slide in the next video, so that I will have some better time to continue with this with the problem. Okay, so please go through the slides when you are preparing or studying. I think this video will be helpful for you to understand few things. Thank you.